Traveling with kids is no walk in the park, but it can be with the right strategy. Kids are keen to do anything you're keen to do. So if you show them how to go about traveling, they will learn to go with your flow, and it can be a positive experience. Here are our top tips on successfully traveling with kids. Welcome back, family. Number 1. Planning. Great family holidays don't happen by accident. They require a measure of planning and a realistic budget. You can't have champagne taste on a beer budget when it comes to holidays, so don't expect a concierge service if you only have a backpacker's budget. And if you can't stomach a DIY holiday, then keep saving until you can afford something that suits you better. In short, be realistic about what kind of travelers you and your kids are. Next, if you want to hit the road and travel coast to coast in a van, around the world in a yacht, or backpack Thailand with your fam, then give yourself enough time to plan without it turning into World War III in your home ahead of departure day, also known as D-Day. Then it's time to be honest. Are you really up to planning the whole thing, or would you do better with a travel agent for the logistics? You don't need to be superwoman, just super as a unit. So know your strengths and play to them. Using a travel agent is a win. It's not a sign of failure, no matter what the travel blogs tell you. Number 2. Poolside is always a win. If you're just burnt out and need to leave the 4 walls you live in, you can always win if you book a place with a pool. It means instant entertainment for your kids of any age, and it burns off restless energy and helps everyone wind down before and after the main attraction of the day. It also means that when you get back to your accommodation, you don't need to hatch a major plan to keep everyone entertained or automatically turn on noisy kids shows. You can read a book while the kids play around the pool, or have a cooling dip yourself. Number 3. Cater for your needs. One of the big expenses in traveling is keeping everyone full while away from home. Read up on what average groceries and restaurants cost where you're going, and weigh it up against deli food. Then find the type of catering budget you are comfortable with. Once you have this down, then work out what you need in terms of kitchen or hotel facilities to make your food budget work for you. There is no end to what a parent can achieve with a bathroom sink and a travel kettle when there are hungry children and a tight budget in the mix. Number 4. Get packing. Prioritize packing, and you will avoid most of the stress associated with traveling. Give yourself enough time to think, find or source what you and the fam will need for the trip. Once you have it all, put it into the luggage that you have. Try to do this a good few days before D-Day. Then check if you can do a lap around the house carrying it. This might be the time you realize you need to downsize, which is a lot less stressful than realizing it when you get to the airport. Generally, you need a lot less than you think. Kids are in a new place and you won't need all the toys and activities they usually do. You probably won't get to knit on the flight, and sorry, but now that you're traveling with kids, you probably won't get to wear that evening wear you packed. And rather work on an amount of luggage that will make your transfers a pleasure and leave you arriving relaxed and less likely to opt for stress-pacifying expenses. Instead, if you remain so chilled and stick to budget, you can buy yourself a new outfit if you do end up going out. Keep watching for a tip that could literally save your child's life. Number 5. Travel slow. Traveling with kids isn't going to include a whistle-stop tour. Unless you want a whistle-stop tour, complete with tantrums, meltdowns, and mega tempers flaring. Resign yourself to the fact that family holidays are best enjoyed with a side of slow and slower. So what if you don't see everything that London has to offer? Or if you can't get to every island you wanted to in Greece? What counts is that you experienced it together and enjoyed it and were enriched by the time away. Leave enough time for your commutes, transfers, and to get to the tour meeting point so that it is a fun experience. Opt for less, and you and your family will end up getting more out. Leaving time for naps, catching up on lost sleep, or adjusting to time changes. There is no point in seeing the Arc de Triomphe if you're all walking zombies anyway. Number 6. Create an itinerary. Before you go, know what you want to do and see. If you have older children, try to include them in the planning. Let them research some of the stops so they can offer insightful information. Plus, it pulls them into the experience if they are hesitant about going away from their friends for such a long time. Spend time before you leave, slotting activities and tours into an itinerary. Talk about it and let everyone know what will be happening. so that you have less explaining to do when you're on the run. A great way to help your children relate to the importance of sites and places is to let them watch some videos about them before you go. This helps them buy into the excitement of historical monuments and galleries. You can't expect an 8-year-old to automatically be enchanted by seeing a Monet if you don't educate them about it before. But there is no reason that having children should prevent you from visiting art galleries and historical monuments. You don't need to spend the next 18 years in theme parks and family resorts. Number 7. Sleeping on the road. One way many families save on longer holidays is by traveling at night. If your kids sleep well on buses, trains, planes and boats, then it's a great idea to double up travel and transport time. This doesn't work as well if you are self-driving because the driver won't get any shut-eye. This is how it works. Instead of taking a long ferry from Italy to Greece by day and lose a day of sunshine, book a cabin for your family on an overnight ferry. This then doubles as transport and accommodation, and many have meals included too. Same goes for trains. And if your family sleeps well enough in chairs, then flights and buses work too. Again, all these meals are included and you arrive in your new destination and can lock up your bags and explore the city before you check in at your accommodation for an afternoon nap. One more tip about travel while we're at it. Hiring a car at the airport, if you're too early to check into a hotel on the day you arrive, sometimes works out cheaper than using airport lockup and public transport. A rental car doubles as all these things. You can lock your bag securely, get around to the sites and to your hotel, and you can pull up to a shady tree and kids can nap in the car if they're exhausted. It's like a mini motorhome when you need a base temporarily. Number 8. Entertainment on the road. Before you choose entertainment for your kids, think about what you can bear in terms of noise and your own participation. Think practically too about what is suitable for the kinds of places and spaces your child will use them in. You don't have to be suckered into thrusting a screen into a child's hands the minute you get on transport. You could give your child a book with pictures on the country to become familiar with before you get there. Then play a game to see who can identify the most attractions. Have a windmill tally in the Netherlands or count temples in Thailand. This helps your child engage with a true purpose to travel. Avoid the terrible noise of 8-year-olds relentlessly bashing away at games on a tablet screen or 11-year-olds endlessly adding filters to their faces on a screen by limiting the apps on the device to something more edifying and calming. Why not find an app like Duolingo that teaches you languages like a game? Then let them learn the local language. They will have more buy-in because they are in the country. Or upload podcasts or audiobooks instead of movies, so your child can still gaze out the window and are also more likely to nod off peacefully than while watching a stimulating screen. Number 9. House-sitting. There are an increasing amount of websites and communities that connect families for house-sitting gigs. You can do a complete swap or just pay a small fee or even be paid for house-sitting a home for a family. This usually includes feeding pets and watering plants or looking after the pool. And the bonus is that you have all the normal amenities a family needs at your fingertips. Often it comes with a vehicle and friends, family and neighbors who take an active interest in you and are happy to offer advice or even show you around. Plus, you might even find the family has a trusted babysitter that you can leave your kids with if you want a date night. But the biggest rule of thumb to any happy family holiday is Number 10. Location, location, location. There is nothing worse than going on holiday and having to spend an hour or more each day commuting to where the action really happens. By the time you get to the beach or attraction, you have already lost a dummy, broken a stroller and a shoe, lost and found a child, had 3 tantrums, and that's just you, and have finished all the snacks you packed for the day. Do yourself a favor and weigh up the costs of a closer location. You won't pay as much for transport. You need less time in the city because you won't be wasting time commuting. You can go back to the hotel for self-catered meals instead of eating out. Plus, you will have an overall more pleasant time without the stress of on-the-ground travel. When you weigh that up, you might find that the hotel will cost more, but everything else will cost less. So family, what is your top tip for traveling with kids? We'd love to hear from you. And our bonus for today is super important. Don't forget the first aid. This could literally save your child's life. Not only are brands of medicine different in different countries, the doses are different, and it is very difficult to communicate medical problems accurately when there is a language barrier. For this reason, you could give your child the wrong medication or dose, and it could have tragic effects. Rather pack in what you know they need and write up clearly the doses, so that you don't have to decipher miniature writing mid-flight with a screaming toddler on your lap. Use a syringe to draw up the exact amount and give it to your child to squeeze into their own mouth to avoid the mess of a spoon. Keep a small amount in your day bag, but leave the larger bottles in your luggage, so that you don't have problems at customs. A thermometer is key to be able to know if it is time to consult a doctor or if you can handle it with first aid measures. And that is a wrap for 10 tips on how to travel with kids. Thanks for joining us, new parents. We are so glad you did. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.